What's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Let me know. So today we have Marauder locked in. Everybody knows Marauder, man. He came on the scene with the Muay Thai and the face tattoos. He's very, very hard to miss. But we got him in here, and we're gonna start chopping it up. So let's bring him out. Marauder, what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. What's up?
Good. So you are not new to this show. You kind of know what we're about. You know what we're going to talk about. We're going to get it down to business about who Marauder is. Before we even start, I got a quick question. What is your government name?
It's Cougar.
It really is Cougar? That's super
Yeah,
dope,
like the
man.
cat.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, I was thinking I had no idea what I was thinking. But yeah, that's
My
pretty
mom
dope.
named me after John Cougar Mellencamp.
And she didn't want to pick John?
Nah, it was crazy. It was that or like
Yes.
Bubbles or Gray. And
Bubbles? Why Bubbles? What year were you born?
2000.
Okay. Alright. Because I was thinking, the only Bubbles I can think of is from The Wire.
Trailer Park Boys is like the only shit I can think of.
Oh, Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. Okay, The Wire has a Bubbles as well. But I think Trailer Park Boys predates that a little bit. I'm not sure. Wire was 2002-ish. Yeah. Okay. Sunshine, how you doing, girl? And then we got Street Beast West Coast. I'm not sure who's behind that, but the channel's watching you. So, let's jump into it, man. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
I was born in Bend, Oregon, which is like Central Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up like all over Central Oregon and primarily in like Prineville, which is like this small community, like 9,000 people. It was all right, you know.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I've ever met somebody from Oregon. Has anybody else in the chat? Cause I don't know if I've ever met somebody from Oregon before that like actually claimed it. Yeah, like I don't know why that intrigues me so much, but it does. Like I don't think I have. So, how long did you live up there?
Most of my life. I just moved to California like less than a year ago.
Oh, nice. Okay, and you are how old now?
I'm 22.
22. Okay, so you lived there up till you were 21 years old. So
Right.
how is Oregon? Like, I think the last thing I heard about Oregon is that they just decriminalized just a ton of drugs recently.
Right, yeah. Oregon's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. The number one thing I liked was like the nature. It's very green. It's pretty wet, and I enjoyed like the rain and like what comes with the rain, the moss and the mushrooms and just everything.
Okay, no, I can understand that. I'm from Florida. We got that too. Probably a little different. I'm sure. The humidity, is the humidity real bad up there?
Not too bad. Like where I was
No.
staying was like the high desert, so it's kind of dry and rocky. But the more you head like west and towards the coast, it
Okay,
becomes
I
more
think
green.
Sunshine wants to come visit you, or maybe me. I never know. Okay, so you born in Oregon, raised in Oregon. What were you like as a child? And clue me in on the name Cougar. Like, how was that when you were younger? Like, would all the kids like that's fucking cool, or they like did they make fun of you for it? Like, how did that go?
It went pretty good. I got like the normal amount of like shit
Harassment.
talking and trolling. It wasn't like the normal stuff you'd expect, like
Yeah.
jokes about MILFs and like kids would come into school and like throw Nerf darts at me and be like, "Oh, it's Cougar season," like little shit like that.
That's funny.
It's like
Yeah.
that's like the most creative stuff.
Yeah.
I was skateboarding late at night once, and a cop was trying to stop me, and he asked me what my name was, and I said Cougar, and he thought I was like trying to fuck him,
Trying to
like,
fuck with it, yeah.
like be like, "No, that's not my name," trying to get away from him.
Yeah.
And that's like the most trouble it's got me into. It's been cool though. It's like it's hard because everyone remembers my name and like remembers my face, and I just, like smoke so much weed that I forget everyone's name, and like I'll be like, "Who are you again?"
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So And marijuana's been legal in Oregon for how long? It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I can remember hearing about it on the news, like as a small kid in like middle school. So I'm not sure how long.
Yeah, it's been quite a while though.
Yeah, I'm not in Oregon right now. I'm staying in North California, like maybe 3 or 4 hours from the Oregon border.
Okay, so growing up, you got the normal amount because I mean I got teased for my name too, and I mean so you sounds like you got just like you said the normal amount of teasing. That definitely happens. When like at what age? I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I got to ask: what age did you start training in martial arts?
I started getting into it when I was like 20.
20. Okay, so
Right.
we're going to back up real quick just a little bit, and let's talk about like little cougar, like when you were younger. Like what kind of stuff you said you skated? What kind of other stuff were you into?
I was a pretty big square. Like up until middle school, I thought it was like illegal to cuss until I like saw some kids doing it in the schoolyard. Like I was a big square, and like yeah,
How?
how?
Yeah, how were you a square? Because you grew up in the age of internet. You know what I mean? Like it's very hard to shelter kids
Right,
these
right.
days.
I
So
hear
how
that
how
too.
were you? Yeah, how were you so sheltered? With your parents?
Yeah, my mom kind of like told me that if I did drugs or did whatever, I would be like institutionalized. I had a
Mm-hmm.
sister that was like quite a bit older than me, and she moved out of the house, and like my mom made an example of them being like, "Look at how they're doing. You don't want to be doing bad." So like I kind of
Mm,
got like scare tactic into being a straight edge kid,
got
and
you. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I got one sister and two brothers.
Older? All older or
Nah,
younger?
one my sister's older, my brother is younger, and then my youngest brother I've never seen him, so he's younger too, but I don't have any
Mm-hmm.
relation to him. But he's related to me. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. You have
Like
no
I
relation
don't
to
I
him,
never
but
seen
you're
him,
related to him.
but he exists. He's out there, and we share DNA.
Oh, got you. Okay. So you guys are not affiliated.
Right,
Got you.
right,
Okay. Okay. I like it. I mean, I don't like it, but I like it. I see what you're getting
right, right,
at.
right.
So okay. So you grew up. You're doing your thing out there in Oregon. You're very very sheltered. Um, at what age did you kind of start branching out into that and realizing that you know what I'm not going to go to hell if I cuss? Oh, actually, what? Why did your mom shelter you so much? Was it
Um,
religion based?
nah, I think she just wanted to be a good mom, and she was just
Mm-hmm.
like kind of helicopter parenting and trying to do it. She was like, she wasn't really a good mom either. She was like kind of abusive. She would lay the fear into me, you
Yeah.
know. And she like really destroyed my ego and didn't make me feel like a good kid. She kind of like messed me up, and she like kicked me out of the house when I was 14, and then I was living with my dad, and she was trolling me like when I was trying to get a job when I was 15 as soon as I could. I needed my birth certificate and social security card to get it done, but that was at
Mm-hmm.
their house. But they wouldn't give me any of the stuff, none of my clothing, none of my documents, and I
Yeah.
called them to give me them at the Taco Bell I was trying to get a job at, and they like called the cops on me because I was trying to get the social security card and birth certificate from the Taco Bell guy. He handed them to me, so she called the cops on me for trying to steal them, and the cops shot me down on the curb right outside there. And she was like trying to keep me from getting the job. That was her thing. She didn't care
Yeah.
about nothing. She was just trying to like mess with me and make me feel like I couldn't exist without her. You know, she was kind of like fuck. I don't like her. You know,
I see that. Was she verbally abusive and controlling, or was she physically abusive as well?
a bit of both. A bit of
A
both.
little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay. So you moved out and moved in with your dad at you said 14.
Yeah.
And how is your dad? Describe your dad. Like how is he?
He was like more laid back. He didn't care too much. He was less involved, and kind of like he was a cool father figure. I thought he was really cool, but as I grew up, I started to realize he was just kind of like irresponsible.
Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. Yeah. How old were you when you realized that? Was this something that you saw as you were there, or was it something you didn't realize for a few years after you moved out?
my parents were divorced, and I would spend like one weekend at my dad's, 2 weeks with my
Mm-hmm.
mom, and they would like bitter like at each other through me, being like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, dad's bad, mom's bad," and like
Yeah.
I kind of like took my dad's side, being like, she batters him and says he's like a lazy bum and doesn't do anything, but he's cool. He's skating with me. We're going to 7-Eleven every weekend's like a party with him. So I like didn't get the true picture, and she was kind of spitting some facts about him being lame, but um, he was kind of like my solitude and my like grace too. He gave me a lot of safety, and then
Yeah.
when I started hanging out with him, he just wasn't like he wasn't that cool, and I called him out for being like not good with money and being like drunk and stuff when I was 17ish, and he gave me the boot too, and it was rough. And then like
What
the next
happened
year
then?
was
Where'd you
really
go after that?
irresponsible and off the chain.
Yeah. So did both of them kind of fall apart after you leave? After you left?
After I left, I like didn't see him again. Like I saw my dad once in a 7-Eleven in passing, and I had like my face tattoos then, and I didn't have him when I was with him. And he was
Mm-hmm.
always like a big right leaning like, uh, God Emperor Trump kind of guy. He was on Reddit all the time,
Gotcha.
and like when he saw me, he was like,
Reddit.
"What the hell is all that?" And he
Bro,
kind
do
of
you know what?
eyed
Do you
me.
know what his Reddit tag is? What's his Reddit
No
name? Because,
clue.
well, okay, I was just saying we'll have a bunch of people rip into him. That's always fun.
Uh, it's whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like you had a very fascinating childhood there. Your mom was very very overly controlling. Your dad was just the opposite and irresponsible, to the point to where you left both of them and you saw your dad on passing at a 7-Eleven and didn't even talk. How's your relationship with them now? And how long ago? Or sorry, what did you do after 17? Like when you moved out, where'd you go from there? Did you start living on your own? Did you move in with another family member?
Man, it gets pretty crazy for me. I uh, I started living with some friends from school,
Mm-hmm.
and I got it was all right. I was staying there for like a year, and I agreed to like this tenant situation where I'd pay them $300 a month, and they would be seeing me through my last like years of high school online,
Mm-hmm.
and they like became overbearing and kind of like tried to parent me, and it like made me upset. And I'm like, I'm paying you to stay here. You don't need to expect extra from me.
Yeah,
So
you're a
they're like,
tenant. You're a tenant at that point.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But then they started getting all butthurt and took offense to that. So I ended up getting the boot from there. But there was extra factors too. Like I was being real crazy, and
Well,
I
let's hear about
to deal
that.
with that.
What do you mean, real crazy? Like, like, boy, you so crazy, or like we the people find to defend it? Like, what kind of crazy are we talking? Like, what's the level of that?
Okay, okay. Jeez, it's a long one. So
We got time.
I know, right? But when I was like a young kid, and this is before like I moved out of my mom's,
Okay.
and I'm like 13,
12, 13. Okay.
right? And I'm playing like Magic the Gathering often. You heard of that game?
Uh, yes, yes, I have.
So it's like this card game you play with other people with like little
Mm-hmm.
monsters and shit. And you go to these game stores to play it, and there's all sorts of people there. There's kids, there's adults. And like I was playing, it was chill. And there was like weirdo adults that would be like trying to play grab ass with the other kids there.
Yeah.
Like,
So pause real quick. All right. So if for everybody who doesn't quite understand, because we kind of glossed over the magic thing, some people might not know what that is. It is, if you've heard of Dungeons and Dragons, it's a large mythos that kind of surrounds Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a card game. So it's
right.
almost
Kinda
like
like Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon was back in the day. And it's a card game though. You know, you beat other players with their cards you have. Blah blah blah. That's all I know. If you want to get more into it, that's cool. But I think the people got it now. So you're at this Magic the Gathering event, and some of the adults were getting a touch handsy. Now, if you don't know what Magic the Gathering is, I would like to describe, or I'd like Cougar to describe some of the adults that were in there that play it. Is
Uh,
Sometimes there's some cool people who play it, but there's also some really fucking weird people that play that
yeah,
game.
there's some people that needed some more sun. Like their hair was falling out. They were
Go,
long and
yeah.
lanky. There were people that were really cool. Yeah, like the owners were cool as hell, and they had their kids come and play with us too,
Mhm.
like in the back playing the game. But like, yeah, it just attracted all sorts of people. And if you go to a shop and play, like it's not like an inherently bad place. You should play Match of the Gathering. It's good. But just like
It is fun. I played it one
yeah, I
time.
love Match of the
It's kind of
Gathering.
fun. Yeah.
But yeah, it gave me like a sour taste. They were like asking for our phone numbers, being weird as hell. And
You were
so
getting groomed, homie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
kind of like kept tabs on this guy for a while.
you did? Did you give him your phone number and everything?
No, I just kind of
Okay.
like internet stalked him, and I
Gotcha.
recognized his face. It's a small town. I know where
Got
he works,
you.
so I would just
Okay.
see him.
Okay.
And so I went on like Tinder and different dating sites, Grinder, and made profiles that had like ambiguous ages, no age, and then him and other guys would message me, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm 14. I'm chilling. I'm alone on weekends." And then like,
Bro, you went on Tinder and Grinder, and Grinder's a gay dating app.
right,
Yeah, yeah. Here, so he knows. Yeah, Grinder's a gay dating app. Um, so you jumped on there and kind of did the to catch a predator to these guys.
pretty much, yeah. And it's like a really small town,
Hmm.
and I started nabbing them up, and I got like three of them, and then I got the guy I wanted, the guy I've been like,
Define nabbing them up for me.
okay, okay. So like the very first one, I had him meet me at a 7-Eleven, and I
Mhm.
recorded as I like walked up to him and questioned him,
Okay, gotcha.
and then he left, and then I gave that to the police. The police told me to like fuck off, and they said it's like kind of making us look bad, like the town.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's whack, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep going, and I kept going, and they like
Hmm.
kept hassling me.
The
So
cops
I did this
did.
for a while. I caught
So
guys in like McDonald's, Denny's. It was wild. I caught
where,
couples.
like man woman couples. So
Yeah.
you straight up did the to catch a predator thing, and do you still have this film?
Yeah, a little bit. I deleted
Yeah.
most of it. I have some saved on Facebook still,
Hmm.
and there's like some articles in like the Bend Bulletin about me, with like my mugshot and some pictures of me in some body armor and shit.
Your mugshot. Could we
Yeah.
got it? Was that? Oh man, this is, I don't even know where to go right now. So what? How did you get in trouble? Like in trouble for that?
Here's what happened. Like this guy drove all the way from Portland to Prineville, which is like a 4+ hour drive, to like solicit sex, and he was gonna give me like $60. And I told him I was a kid all alone in my house. And by this time, I was living alone and had my own house I was renting to do this in, because I got kicked out of that old house I was staying with my friends for doing this shit, and just like they didn't want to be near me because they thought it was unsafe. Admittedly, yeah, like I wouldn't want to live with me either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that somebody could. So okay, time frame wise though, I'm a little confused on the time frame. So you said it started with your when you were living with your mom.
That's when I made contact with that creep, and I kind of like became obsessed with him and started watching him. And then
Okay,
after I got kicked out of my dad's is when I made the decision to start like kind of preying on him.
like really jumping into it. Okay, I got
Right.
you. I got you. Yeah. Yeah, Diesel got a point. More body armor if you're gonna go calling people out like that. Yeah, because that's legitimately dangerous. Like if as a 16, 17-year-old kid, one of those grown ass men decide that they're going to harm you or worse, there's not really much you can do about it. You know what I mean? They just
Right,
snatch
right.
you up real quick. Yeah. So how'd that all play out? And how did you get a mug shot?
Okay, so the guy came from Portland to Prineville, And this was like one of my late catches. It was like more than 20 I've done. The town well knew me. They were annoyed with me. The police knew my face well. They were annoyed with me. They knew what I was doing. They knew that the public supported me, but the DA didn't and didn't want to do anything with it. So,
Was there a specific reason? Sorry to jump in there. Was there a specific reason they didn't want to do anything? Was it somebody
because I'm not a cop
specifically?
and no cops were involved, and I sat down with like the basically the special unit that they had, their detectives that deal with sex crimes and internet crimes against children, and they said that they can't use any of it because I'm not a cop and there's no cops involved with the investigation. And I said, you have the resources, give me one. And they were like, we're not going to work with you. You're not something that we want to be affiliated with. And I get it
That's
because I was
fascinating.
young
Yeah.
too. I was like 17 at the time.
Yeah. Which that I mean, just you talking to those men like that that was probably a gray area right there legally. Yeah. Okay.
They
So
told me that like the only way I could get charged is by them trying to seek me out themselves. Like they could do civil court stuff to me if they really
Gotcha.
wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. So you talk to the DA, but you keep doing it, and what happens?
So I'm doing it for a while. I have my own house. I have supporters. I have a lot of people that don't like me because I'm catching their brother, their father, their aunt, you know, and they're like, "Fuck you. My aunt isn't a rapist. My cousin isn't a rapist. You're lying." So they would like be against me, and it was like just confusing for them. But you have to relate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if some kid came to you with like pictures of your brother and said he's a rapist, you wouldn't believe him. You know?
I mean, so you had video proof of all of it?
Here's what made it like undeniable in my mind. I would take screenshots of the conversation with their profile and my profile, so everything's out in the open. Everyone knows what's going on. They would often send me like dick pics, other shit. I would like censor it in a proper way where you can still tell it's a dick pic, and then I would they would agree to meet me somewhere, and it would like be usually like 2 a.m. or something, like in a dugout at a baseball field, and there's no reason Dave should be in the dugout at 2 a.m. other than if he was messaging me. So it's like undeniably like, okay, why are you here? Plus these messages, this is obviously you.
Yeah. Okay. So all right, let fast forward to the mugshot situation. Like how
Okay.
did you
Guy
get
shows up.
arrested?
I'm like deep in my creep catcher psychosis where I've bought body armor, I have friends with guns, and I have like a balaclava over my face, which is like a ski mask, and I have a big knife on my waist, and I'm in camouflage, and I'm in the grass next to my house,
All
ducked down,
fucking
laying on my belly.
commando. Yeah.
At
I don't think
3
that's what
a.m.
they meant. I don't think that's what they meant when they asked you to go commando.
And man, I'm like shaking thinking about it and talking about it.
Yeah.
But
No shit.
it's on my Facebook still, but the guy shows up. He's big and round. He's like 5'9". He's wearing a fucking Super Mario shirt, and I'm grilling him in front of my house, and my neighbor's lights turn on. It's like 5 minutes into me grilling him, and like 4 police cars roll in hot with their lights on. Their cops jump out with their guns out, and I put my hands up immediately, and I get on my knees, and they take my stuff, my body armor and my knife, and they arrest me for menacing and disorderly conduct, and they let the guy go because I immediately say like, I don't want to talk to anyone, I want a lawyer, which I heard is like the best thing to say.
Yeah.
So they took me, they booked me, they took my fingerprints. The cops kind of hassled me a little bit while I was in booking, being like, "You're that guy, aren't you? You know, you need to be careful. That's not safe. You know, this was going to happen. We've been waiting pretty much. You know, that's pretty serious charges for a young kid. You know, you're messing up huge." And the DA didn't want to prosecute me off of this. He just kind of wanted to like get me out of the town so I would stop sullying the name of Prineville, Oregon. You know,
That nobody's ever heard of.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Fucking. So after that, my landlord happened to be the person who lived next to me. So I got 30 days after I came back from jail, and then I was living at this gas station that I was also working at, and I was still like catching the creeps, and that was my name that I used. I was like the Crook County creep catcher because Crook County is in Pineville, and it
Yeah.
sounded really nice when it was all
Crook
together.
County. Yeah. Okay.
Ugh.
That. So, okay. So and charges were not pressed. They'd let you go.
They let me go. They didn't.
Okay.
I didn't even make it to arraignment.
Got you. Okay. So, and how old were you when all that finally kind of concluded?
My final one I did when I was like 20.
20. Okay. So, dude, that was just 2 years ago. Like you're only
Yeah,
22.
and I have a child now and a wife. I'm not going to
Yeah.
be doing it again. It was kind of like a.
Let's talk about that. I had no idea
That's
you had a
way
child
more
and a wife. Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. So, okay. How long have you been married, and how old is your child? Is it a boy or a girl?
He's a boy. He's about a year and a half almost.
Okay.
And I've been married for a while, uh, near 2 years, and I've been with this person for over 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea. We've never heard you talk about it. Do you try to keep your personal life away from like your fight life and everything?
Not really. Like I
No.
want to bring my wife and my kid to it.
Okay. Because yeah, Ryu said it never came up at Denny's. Yeah. Because you do seem like a fairly private person though.
I'm just quiet.
Okay, that's understandable. Okay, so around you said 20 years old is when you got into martial arts,
Yeah.
and you're a Muay Thai guy.
Oh yeah.
You're a fellow Muay Thai guy. Me, you, Wade, Free Smoke, Samke's getting into it. There's quite a few of us that kind of originate with Muay Thai. How did you get into that? Where did it start? And did you train at a gym, or are you all home trained?
So I was working at a gas station in this big town, Eugene, Oregon, which has like a lot of homeless people and stuff, and they were coming in and hassling the store and like stealing stuff, and I would have to kick them out, and they'd be threatening me. And there was a Muay Thai place right across the street from the gym, like from my work. I could see them like through the window. So I just like went over there and signed up for a free week, and then immediately fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How long did you train out of that gym?
a while, like more than 2 years.
1 2 years. Okay. Did you have any amateur fights when you're training at that gym?
Yeah, I had one amateur fight.
Okay. How'd that go? And where did you fight at?
I fought in Tacoma, Washington, in this
Mhm.
like child's soccer arena, and it was really cool. It was full of people, and we had Joe Nottawa was watching, and that's
Okay.
cool. He's like a
Yeah.
professional Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It went really good. I was knocked down in the first round for an 8 count,
Mhm.
and then I knocked my opponent down in the second round for an 8 count. And
Nice.
then I was pressing him for most of the third round. I was battering him around the ring. And then the judges called it for my opponent. And like
Okay.
I looked at my opponent all like crazy eyed when they raised his hand and not mine. I was like totally expecting my hand to be raised.
Yeah.
And then my coach and everyone was hyping me up, being like, that's a bad call. We think you're a winner. That was good.
Yeah. Was it a smoker? Did you have shin pads and headgear on?
We had shin pads, no headgear. It wasn't a
Shin
smoker.
pads,
It was a
Okay.
sanctioned event.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Cool. Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. And then when you moved, when did you hear about street beefs? And were you moved down to California before you heard about street beefs, or did you watch it up north in Oregon?
I would watch it on like YouTube when I would just like look up fights. I
Mhm.
would come across street beefs, and I would like watch their videos here and there. Into like my middle school and high school years, I'd watch street beef stuff.
Okay, so you've been a fan for a good, 8 10 years, something like that.
Yeah.
What made you decide to sign up, and how did your signing up go about? How did you find all that out and do it?
I was on Facebook and I got suggested the like Street Beefs West Coast page, and I joined and I was just watching people train and the different sign up posts and stuff, and I posted some videos of me just hitting the bags, and that made me get told to go sign up. and do the
Yeah.
event. And I was like, that'd be cool. I'd love to fight in Street Beefs. Like I often watch the videos and be like, oh, I could do this. You always think, oh, I can do this when you're watching the videos,
Oh,
but
100%. Yeah. There's a whole different story though getting in there.
yeah.
So, yeah, I remember you coming into the group. I remember that. I very clearly remember 619 and I going, "Who the fuck is this dude with the fucking face tattoos?"
Right.
Like it was, yeah. I remember seeing you come in here. It was pretty neat. And we've asked you about the face tattoos, but I'm going to again for anybody who hasn't seen it. How did those come about? What made you tattoo your face?
Okay. So like, I'm living in that house I rented out when I'm 18. I've moved out of that house with those school friends, and I'm I'm like kind of schizophrenic and paranoid. I'm like hearing gravel and door slams when there's not car doors and shit, because I'm paranoid about like predators and shit. And
Yeah.
my friend comes over and he gives me a bag of mushrooms, and I eat them up, and it makes me think about like my family, and I start realizing for the first time ever that like my dad could have depression, and that's why he's so shitty and doesn't do anything well and drinks so much booze, and like my mom is just like weird and wants to do well, but she's a shithead and how she does it, you know.
Yeah. I
And it made
definitely
me
can
like
relate.
accept a lot of that stuff, and then like the next day I did my own like face tattoos, like this one under my eye.
Wait, you did your own? What's that say? What is that?
It says vital, but it's you can only read it in a mirror because I was looking in a mirror as I did it.
That's funny. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and then this one I did, and then on the forehead it was just like one line up like that. Then I went to a tattoo artist when I moved to Eugene and got like
Mhm.
the rest of it done up with the lettering and the rest of it.
I'm gonna solo you real quick. Get close so everybody can see that because I don't know what they. Let's see, hear no, see no, speak no. I'm assuming evil, like the horns and everything, right?
Right. It
Okay.
it didn't want to be horns originally. It was like crescents,
Uh huh.
but it works
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
And that means like you become the company you keep. If you want to be like a good fighter, you hang around with other fighters, and if you want to be a bum, you hang out with bums. You know.
That's legit. I mean, that's it. That's a bold move to tattoo your face.
The
Very,
thing was
very
like
bold.
I was crazy like suicidal because I was
Mm-hmm.
like my mom and dad aren't cool with me.
Yeah.
The whole town's fucking with me. The police are. I'm wanting to kill myself, but I'm like, if I'm doing that, then why wouldn't I consider tattooing my face? You know?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, when you juxtapose the two like that, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like killing yourself, getting a face tattoo. This
Yeah, I'm
is
gonna
face
get some
tattoo
face
is a
tattoos.
little
I'm gonna do what
lighter.
I want. I'm gonna sign up for some Muay Thai fights. You know?
Yeah. Okay. So, and how? I don't know how to. I don't know how to ask this. But how deep? How deep did your depression get, and the suicidal thoughts get? Because I know we've had several people on here already that were really really close. You know.
I mean, yeah, like it started out real basic. Like I wasn't taking care of myself. I dropped out of
Mm-hmm.
my homeschooling because I'm like hunting these predators is more important. I am just wasn't doing well.
Gotcha.
I
Things just
would,
kind of fell apart.
yeah. There were times I would go to therapy often because it was a resource that I had, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew after that mushroom trip that I didn't want to kill myself, and that's part of like what drove me to get body armor and keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I figured it out,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm cool. I didn't have too many close calls. Yeah,
That's
like
good. That's good.
yeah, I'm good.
So when did you meet your wife? Around what time frame as far as where were you living? Which house were you living in when you and your wife met?
I was living in like this $800 two-bedroom apartment
Mm-hmm.
in Eugene, Oregon. I think it was 2020, around there, or yeah, and
we met online and we went out and met each other at a park, and then we just kept on seeing each other, and we were constantly spending the night at each other's place, and we like instantly connected. My wife is named Bones, and that's like their nickname, but their like government name is Destiny.
Oh, okay.
And they're pretty cool. They've got like tattoos of bees behind their ears and like hand tattoos like I do, and it's pretty cool.
Okay, dope. What did you say? They?
Yeah, I just say they like that's part of like growing up in Oregon. I'm around a lot of
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
more liberal stuff, and I just like
gotcha.
refer to
Okay.
people like that.
Okay. So does she identify as non-binary as they?
They're comfortable with that. Like they're not upset with
Gotcha.
that, and they're not upset
Yeah,
with being
okay.
called female either.
Gotcha.
They're happy with it.
Understandable. Yeah. I mean, whatever makes people happy, man.
Right.
So, and you guys met, and how old is your son? You said year and a half?
Yeah, you
Year
can
and a
hear
half.
him running around the halls right now.
How was that when you said Bones? When Bones came up to you and was like, I'm pregnant. How did that feel?
That was pretty crazy. It was. It just like sent me over the top for like a week. I just every day flew by. I was just so happy.
That's
It was
dope.
pretty
That's
crazy.
dope.
We were going
Yeah.
to ultrasounds and seeing the baby move on the monitor, and that is like something I'll always remember. And like hearing the little heartbeats,
That's cool.
it was crazy. I was
Has he started training yet? Like, how's his kicks look? How's his kicks look
he's
right
stomping more than he's kicking.
now? Okay. He's moving though, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what counts. Okay, cool. Let's talk more about Street Beefs. You have how many fights with Street Beefs? 4? 3?
3.
3. You fought Campos. Who else? Glitch, and then
Battleborn.
Battleborn. Yeah, Battleborn was your first fight, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Battleborn is a motherfucker, and he is an absolute motherfucker of a first fight. Like that was
Right.
When you signed up and you showed up, and there Battleborn was, and you find out you get matched up with him. Like, what's going through your head at that moment?
I'm feeling pretty good. I predicted I was gonna be with Battleborn. People were messaging me being like, "You've made an impression that you need to fight this person, so it's gonna happen." And I'm like, "All right," and I was excited. I didn't think like when you're watching the YouTube videos, you overestimate your fighting capabilities. You're like, "Oh, I move so much faster. I wouldn't get tired like this. I would just chop the leg." And
Yeah,
but then
let's
you
just
get
chop
in
his
there.
legs down, and that'll be over.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling pretty confident before the event, actually.
And then you hop in there, and you find out that it doesn't always go to plan. Like,
Right.
how did you feel inside? And I don't tend to jump into this so much, but you have a nervous tendency that we've all seen.
Right. I don't
And-
mind talking about it at all.
Okay,
Like,
yes. I did ask you before we started if we could talk about everything. You said that's cool. So,
Right.
But I wanted to lead into that. Like, your nerves, your mentals inside the cage with Battleborn. How did that play out?
I was thinking I'm not getting hurt too much. Like I could register in my mind like I'm getting hit with kicks and punches, but the adrenaline wasn't making me realize the damage. And I was thinking I could keep going. And I was upset at how it turned out. Like I didn't expect myself to stop, you know?
Okay.
And then I got like fired up and I was walking around like I need another fight. And that's I fought Campos that same event at the end. And I was like, I wanted to show out. Like I knew I had so much more to give, you know? It kind of fired me up. Like I didn't feel like a loser, you know?
Yeah. And how did the Campos fight go for anybody who didn't see it?
That one was
Like-
crazy. That guy is a sleeper. He came out and he was telling me that he'll fight me in whatever style I want, like MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. And I'm like, oh, I'm looking for Muay Thai. And he's like, all right. And I'm asking like how much he weighs. I'm sizing him up. And I'm like, okay, we're like the same size, you know?
Yeah.
But he was like serious. He came out.
Yeah. And I believe
he wasn't looking for fun.
He's
He wanted
Duva's
to fight.
stepson. I believe he's Duva's stepson, right? Did you hear about that? That he's Duva's stepson?
I didn't hear about that.
I'm pretty sure. If somebody knows differently, chime in, please. But I'm pretty sure that's Duva's stepson, and that alone holds a little bit of weight because Duva's an absolute animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep. Everybody's saying yes. So yeah, it's his stepson, and he's. I mean, he was solid. He was very very solid just from the gate. So you run that, and you. How did that one end up? How did you fare in that one?
Worse than I did with Battleborn. I choked like even more installed while thinking too much what to do. Mm-hmm. I got like one check in, and that was like the kind of the highlight for me of the fight, and what made me feel the most good.
Yeah.
And like, it made me want to really sharpen up. I kind of realized what my problems were, in like the way I had been training and the way I've been preparing for fights.
Okay, what happens after that? So after the event, you go home. You're like, this is what I need to work on, because those first fights are really that's all they are for most of us. It's like, what do I need to work on? Because even if they go to plan, you're like, you watch the video and you're like, damn, I look like shit. Like, I know that happened to me. It happens to a lot of people. Your first couple fights, you're like, I don't know what is going on right now. Like, you feel like you're going to get in there and just be a murderer because you just beat the shit out of some pads for 2 months getting ready, and then it doesn't pan out. So you get out, you go back to the drawing board, then you sign up to fight Glitch, right?
Right.
A few months later. Okay. Walk me through that one. How'd that go?
So the number one thing I needed was more sparring, and I kind of feel like I did the wrong sparring getting ready. Like, I did a lot of technical, light sparring, kind of slower, focusing on balance and technique and looking pretty. But when I'm in a fight, I just start throwing 100% and going less disciplined in my technique.
Yeah.
So before Glitch's fight, I did a lot of soft technical sparring, and I think that helped me. I was on the up and up. It was better than my fights before, for sure. But same issue arose, same outcome.
Okay. And before we jump to Darkness in this last event, how about this question? So, Street Beast West Coast After Party, did you know about those before going to your first event? Did you hear about them a little bit?
No, I hadn't heard about them at all.
Okay, and then you went to that after party after your first event. How was that?
That was fantastic. It was crazy. It was a anniversary event, so they were going all out pretty much.
Okay, yeah, the after party. The after parties are, I mean, most of us. That's our like we go for the after parties. The fights are just a bonus. Getting the fight is just a bonus. So, and then now you're 3 fights deep, and you sign up to fight Darkness. I remember I messaged you. Do you want to fight Darkness Muay Thai? And you said yes. Walk me through everything, because you were mad confident, like when we did the face-offs and everything. So walk me through showing up to the event and everything, and how everything played out and why it played out the way it did.
All right, here we go. So like, I sign up for the event. I get paired up with Darkness, and I'm showing it to like my training partners, and they're getting me ready. They're gassing me up, telling me like, "Oh, the way you fight, you're a stand-up fighter. All you do is striking. Darkness is known for his ground game and not known for his striking. You're gonna. This is an easy win for you. This is a throw up, a layup, And then they started like giving me his like record, telling me like how many fights, how experienced he is, telling me like he's older than me by quite a bit. He's been fighting for like 10 more years than I have, So it started like getting to me, but I was really confident before the event, like you said, at the face-off and stuff. I was thinking like, okay, we're the same size. I have the advantage. This is what I do. This is my game. He plays checkers. I play chess, and yeah, just like I showed up to the event, and it's like right at the beginning. I'm walking around with my mouth guard in, my hand wraps. I'm like skipping around, warming up. I'm giving like interviews, all fired up, being like, "Oh, you're gonna want to watch me."
Talking all that shit, huh?
Yeah. And then I just started like thinking that I can't do it. I started thinking that like I can't even knock someone out if they just like held their hands down.
Yeah.
And I don't know like where this came from. I just started getting scared. I started thinking like he's so much more experienced than me. He's gonna just get me, you know? And then I was just tripping way too much on my opponent versus thinking about my own technique and where I'm at skill wise. My ego was beaten down to a point where I was like, I'm not capable of fighting someone.
Yeah, honestly, just and I'm just gleaning this from our 45-minute talk right now, but it sounds like two things are happening in my opinion right here. Is one, you grew up with a mother that just verbally beat you down all the time, constantly. And then you also haven't really had a positive male role model in your life. You know what I mean? Like growing up, it's very, very important to have that. And I think that's led to a huge lack of confidence, and which it shouldn't. Like your Muay Thai skill set, your now, don't get me wrong, we haven't seen it fully fleshed out in a fight yet, but your form and your technique is as good as it gets. Like
Right, I feel fight ready.
yeah,
It
like
needs to click in here or to fight him, to do what I do, you know? And so that's kind of the next step I'm working on is I'm getting some real like hard sparring where we're gonna try and emulate a fight in a way to build up that confidence and prove to myself that I can hurt someone. Not that I'm gonna go and try and hurt my sparring partners, but prove to myself that I'm gonna be okay. I can survive 2 minutes in a ring with someone, and I can still deal damage to them.
Yeah, what my suggestion is, grab a couple strict defense only rounds for yourself. So let your sparring partners tune you up a little bit and just play defense. Check kicks, block, obviously with shin guards and everything on. So and they're not going to be wailing on you, but they're going to have them go 75% for at least one defensive round, because once you realize your guard is there and people can't hurt you, or at least it takes a lot for them to hurt you. Bruising and bumps and bruises are common, but if you have a Muay Thai guard, you have a solid Muay Thai guard. Like they're not going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even in a fight, they're not going to. So practice those defense only rounds. That helps a lot. That's because I was in the same boat 10, 12 years ago. Like I would freeze up during sparring, and that's what my coaches did with me. They made me do some defense only rounds, and I realized I'm like, my guard's pretty tight. I'm not going to get hurt. And it takes a minute to realize that, but it does. Yeah. What are your future plans? Like where are we going to see Marauder soon? Like as far as Street Beefs goes.
Yeah. I'm gonna be training a lot, getting ready, pretty much going back right into fight camp, trying to get ready. And I signed up, or I'm not signed up yet, but I'm gonna plan on signing up in the scrapyard in Washington.
Okay, cool, yeah.
And I'm probably gonna do that next month, and try and get a fight there. I think part of the pressure too was like I look up to Free Smoke and DTP and Shinigami and like all the guys, and they saw how I performed the first time at the first event I showed up to, and they saw how I performed with Glitch, and I feel like part of the pressure was wanting to like show off for them, and I feel like if I go to the scrapyard and it'll relieve a little bit of the stress, and then if I get a good fight there and get a win, it'll really puff out my chest a little bit, and I'll come back to the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad take on that situation. But just know that Free Smoke, Shenny, DTP, all those guys, none of them are putting any pressure on you to win. They're not even nobody's putting you pressure on you to fight. Period. Like
I hear that.
Try to do it because you want to challenge yourself. You know what I mean?
Right. But I'll never.
This is a great comment. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Do you have a team? Do you have a fight team that you train with?
I train with Coda every week, and I'm not part of any fight team. No.
Okay. Coda's solid. Coda knows what he's doing.
He's my boy,
and
he gives me all my fight strategies.
Yeah. Also, right here. So he said your first mistake is looking up to Shinny. You should look up to Ryu Senin instead. Heart emoji. He's not wrong. Ryu Senin is a very very cool dude, and a very solid fighter. You can't make a mistake with that. Watching your journey. So I absolutely share this sentiment. Like we're all going to be watching your journey. It's not about like I'm not going to lie to you. Nobody. I don't want to say nobody cares, but it doesn't bother anybody that you lost some fights. It doesn't bother anybody that your nerves got so heavy that you just couldn't get in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody really just wants to see you progress, even if it's 1% each time you get in there. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Gee, right here. You'll bounce back. Just stay focused. You know what I mean? Everybody really, truly, and it's weird because everybody barely knows everybody, but we give a shit. Like we really do. Like look at this comment. Battleborn lost his first 14 fights. Now it was not 14, but it was at least 4. Like Battleborn lost like his first 4 fights. You know what I mean? And now he's one of the he's touted as one of the most dangerous individuals in that cage. Because
his fight with Crazy Legs was pretty crazy.
Indeed.
I was hanging out with Crazy Legs at the after party, feeling his forearms because they were all bumpy from kicks.
Yeah, my neighbor's still scraping Crazy Legs' nuts off his rooftop over there because he kicked the shit out of him. Yeah. So, but yeah, that if you get nothing else from this podcast or from Street Beast West Coast or from anybody in the chat or anything, we all have a journey. You're just on yours, and it's not a big deal. Like nobody. This is not a career. Nobody's getting paid for it. We just want to see you grow. So keep that in mind. Ain't nobody holding your feet to the fire when it comes to getting a W. You know what I mean? We just want you to have fun. We want you to show up to the after parties, and if you can get a fight in, great. Get you a fight in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Darkness gave you some shorts.
Right. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, he did. Right after the event. He came over to my corner right after I was backing out, and he was trying to convince me to fight after the event was over, or to like at least farm or do something. And I was saying I can't do it, and I was like breaking down pretty much. And he came over and was like, what size Muay Thai shorts are you? I got these for you. And he handed me some black Muay Thai shorts. And
that's fucking cool. Yeah,
right?
That's really
right.
cool. Because that's your opponent. Like, not to rub this in, but these are the facts. He drove all the way out there for a fight and didn't get one. But he still cared about you as a human being.
And not just himself, too. He had his kids and wife, you know.
Had a whole family there. Yeah, I thought his wife, I thought he was going to get the cage.
She was madder than him, yeah.
She was staring daggers. She was staring daggers at him. Because I walked up to Darkness and was like, hey, man, got another potential matchup if you want it. And he was just like, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what happened there, but she was not having it.
Yeah. Darkness, though, is still in California. I'm pretty sure he lives somewhere near LA or so.
Yeah.
And I think I could get down there and get that round just because I want it. I think it.
Do it. And you know what? A funny thing is I saw you sparring Sketchy right after you were supposed to be fighting. Right after you're like, I'm not doing this. I saw you sparring Sketchy almost immediately after that. And you guys were going kind of hard, because I think Sketchy was drunk by then. You guys were going kind of hard. Maybe 15-20% harder would be your fight. You know what I mean? So you can do it. You can absolutely do it.
I regret it so much. And like I said, I'm gonna always remember Dieso's face as he's looking at me, and like his cheeks are quivering from rage, and his own like bruises on his face, being like, just get in there and do it. You came here to do it, you know?
I'll remember it too, because we got that on film.
Man.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I saw a clip of that. Yeah, it's just, and it's honestly, it's a really cool moment. Regardless of where your stance is on getting out there or not, it's a really cool moment. Like, it happened. Don't regret it. Like, life is about situations just
right.
like
I could
that.
feel the love and that people just wanted me to do my best, and if I wasn't gonna like go out there with my spirit. They didn't want me to fight. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like DTP was giving me a hug after I was saying I'm not gonna fight, and like I could for real feel like, you know, they care. They care.
Yeah, so in that regard, for everybody watching, if you've never gotten a hug from DTP, I highly suggest it. They're really good fucking hugs.
Yeah, it made my heart grow 3 sizes.
Right, bro. He gives fucking phenomenal hugs, bro. I don't know what it is. I think it's the size, but it feels like your dad hugging you. I'm not gonna lie, it really kind of does. Right? It does. So, yeah. I think we go wrap it up right there, my man. Do you have any socials you want to shout out? You want to shout anybody out? Anything?
Yeah. Thank you, Coda, for the quality training and all my sparring partners. You can follow me on Marauder's Motivation on Instagram and Marauder Muay Thai on TikTok. I post training all the time of me hitting the bag and doing sparring and stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hearing about me.
For sure, my man. I appreciate you being on the show, big homie.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Have a good night, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
All right, later. Yo, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I like talking to that dude, man. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna try to get locked in back on point here soon. We had a few weeks, couple cancellations, a couple times I couldn't make it. Next week is 420, so we'll be doing a show on that day. And next week is my dad. So you guys met him. You guys met him at the event. So we're gonna talk about his life and about my conception and all that good stuff. So you guys keep it real, man. I appreciate everybody being out. Have a good night.